Karen Miller has always believed that power belongs to her. She runs a high-end fashion store like a dictator, controlling everything and everyone. Her employees fear her, customers dread her, and anyone who doesn't meet her standards is treated like trash. And today, she's about to make the biggest mistake of her life. Karen targets a black customer, but she chose the wrong one. It was a busy afternoon at Lux & Corey, an upscale boutique where Karen Miller ruled like a queen. Her sharp heels clicked against the marble floors as she strutted past racks of designer clothing. Employees whispered as she walked by, avoiding eye contact. They knew better than to attract her attention. And then the bell chimed as the boutique door opened. A black man in an expensive suit stepped inside. He carried himself with confidence, his presence alone commanding attention. Karen's nose wrinkled in disgust. A black man in her store, wearing designer clothes, walking around like he belonged? Unacceptable. Karen's gaze darkened as she strutted toward him, her lips curling into a smirk. "Excuse me, sir," she said in a sugary, sweet voice that dripped with condescension. "I think you might be in the wrong store." The man, Jamal, turned to her, his brow raising slightly. "Wrong store?" he echoed. "Last I checked, Lux & Coda sells clothes, and I'm here to shop." Karen forced a laugh, but her eyes were cold. "Oh, no offense, but this is an exclusive boutique, and we don't usually get customers like you." Jamal's jaw tightened, but he remained calm. He had seen women like her before. Entitled, prejudiced, drunk on their own power, but Karen wasn't done. "Our price range is a little steep." Her voice dropped to a patronizing whisper. "Maybe you'd be more comfortable somewhere. Affordable." The insult was clear. The message was loud and clear. "You don't belong here." Karen decides to humiliate Jamal in front of everyone. Jamal smiled, slow and calculated. He reached into his jacket pocket, pulling out a sleek black card, a Centurion black card. Karen's breath hitched. She recognized that card immediately. Only the wealthiest of the wealthy had it, the kind of card that could buy her entire store 5 times over. But instead of backing down, Karen doubled down. She couldn't stand the idea of a black man having more money than her, and she sure as hell wasn't going to let him walk around her store like he owned the place. So, she did the unthinkable. She pressed the emergency button under the register. A loud alarm blared through the boutique. Within seconds, 2 security guards stormed inside. Karen pointed at Jamal, her voice dripping with fake concern. "He's trying to steal." Gasps echoed through the store. Employees froze. Customers stared. The security guards immediately stepped toward Jamal, their hands hovering over their radios. Jamal didn't move. He just stood there, watching Karen with an amused expression, as if he knew something she didn't, something she was about to learn the hard way, because Karen had just made the worst mistake of her life. She had no idea who she was dealing with, but she was about to find out. Part 1 ends here. Karen thinks she's won. She thinks she's put a criminal in his place. But what she doesn't realize is that she just set herself up for the biggest humiliation of her life. Because Jamal isn't just some random customer. He's someone with more power than she could ever imagine. And karma is about to hit her hard. Karen stands tall, believing she has won. Jamal remains calm, but beneath the surface, the storm is brewing. Karen has no idea she just declared war on the wrong man. And she's about to pay the price. Security confronts Jamal, but he's 2 steps ahead. The 2 security guards move in, hands twitching near their radios. One of them, a burly man with a shaved head, steps forward. "Sir, I'm going to have to ask you to empty your pockets," he says. Jamal tilts his head, expression unreadable. "Empty my pockets?" His voice is calm, almost amused. "And why would I do that?" Karen scoffs, crossing her arms. "Because you've been stealing." Her voice drips with fake authority. "Just cooperate, and maybe we won't have to involve the police." Jamal lets out a low chuckle, shaking his head. "You really don't know who I am, do you?" Karen rolls her eyes. "Oh, please," she sneers. "You're just another thug trying to act like you belong here." The second security guard, a younger man with a nervous expression, hesitates. He shifts his weight, glancing between Karen and Jamal. Something doesn't feel right. Jamal catches this and smiles. Tell you what, he says, reaching into his pocket. Let's check the cameras before you make a fool of yourself. Karen's smirk falters for just a second, because she knows damn well the cameras will prove Jamal didn't steal a thing. But she's too deep in her lie now. Backing down means admitting she's wrong, and Karen Miller doesn't do that. The tide starts to turn. Jamal takes control. Karen's lip curls. She gestures to the security guards. Just detain him until the police get here. She snaps. The younger guard hesitates again. Ma'am, he says carefully, if he's innocent, we could be looking at a lawsuit. Karen glares at him. I don't pay you to think. She hisses. Jamal watches the exchange with a smirk. And then, just as Karen is about to dig herself deeper, a new voice cuts through the tension. What the hell is going on here? The entire store falls silent. Well-dressed woman strides into the scene. Her name is Vanessa Caldwell. She's the regional manager of Lux and Cobano, and she just walked in at the perfect moment. Karen tries to twist the narrative, but she's losing control. Karen straightens up, trying to look confident. Vanessa, thank God you're here. I caught this man shoplifting. Vanessa holds up a hand. Stop talking. Karen's mouth snaps shut. The look on Vanessa's face is pure steel. She pulls out her phone and starts playing the security footage. The truth is out, and there's no way for Karen to escape it. Pack your things. You're fired. The words hit like a bullet. Karen gasps, her entire world crumbling. She turns to the security guards, but they just shake their heads. Jamal watches it all unfold, amusement dancing in his eyes. But he isn't done yet, not even close. Because Karen still doesn't know the full extent of her mistake. And when she finds out, it'll be the most humiliating moment of her life. Karen thinks she can salvage this. She still believes she's in control, but by the time she wakes up, the entire world will know her name. And they're coming for her. Karen wakes up to a nightmare. The next morning, Karen groggily reaches for her phone. She barely slept. Last night was a blur. Her heart pounds as she unlocks the screen. Then she sees it, and her entire body freezes. Her face, her name, everywhere, trending on Twitter. Karen Miller exposed, thousands of tweets, videos, articles. Karen Miller, the racist store manager who falsely accused a black man of theft, only to find out he was the CEO. Her stomach drops. She clicks on a video, and her own voice fills the screen. You people always steal from stores like this. The clip cuts to Jamal's face, his calm expression. And what exactly do you mean by you people? The internet is eating her alive. She scrolls further. News outlets are running, covering the story. CNN, MSNBC, even gossip blogs are tearing her apart. Karen's hands shake violently. No, this can't be happening. She has to fix this. Now, Karen tries to defend herself, but it backfires horribly. In a panic, Karen jumps onto Facebook. She types furiously, I am not a racist. This is a misunderstanding. I was just doing my job. She hits post, but within seconds, the replies start rolling in. Doing your job? By falsely accusing a black man of theft? Oh, please. We heard you loud and clear, Karen. You deserve everything coming your way. Karen's breathing turns shallow. She clicks on her messages. Hundreds of DMs, hate mail, death threats. Her fingers start trembling. She needs to talk to someone. She dials her best friend, Lisa. The phone rings. Then he bones straight to voicemail. Weird. She tries again. No answer. She calls another friend. Same result. Karen's blood runs cold. Her friends are ghosting her. Even the people she trusted most want nothing to do with her. The consequences get worse. Karen loses everything. Karen barely has time to process the social media disaster when her phone rings. Her heart leaps with hope. Maybe someone from corporate is calling to fix this. She quickly answers. Hello? But it's not corporate. It's her landlord. Karen, we need to talk. Her grip tightens. You're evicting me? I'm sorry, Karen. You have 30 days to find a new place. Her world crumbles. First her job, now her home, and then another email notification pops up. Her bank, her credit card, declined. Her sponsorships, canceled. Her income, gone. Jamal Carter didn't just take her job. He took her entire life. The final humiliation. Jamal gives her one last message. Her phone buzzes, a text. From an unknown number, just 2 words. Good luck. Karen thought it couldn't get worse. She thought she had already hit rock bottom. She was wrong. Because what's coming next is something she never saw coming. And this time, there's no way out. Karen tries to disappear, but the internet won't let her. She packs her bags, throws everything she can into a suitcase. She needs to leave. A new city, a new life. Somewhere no one knows her. But before she can even make it out the door, her phone buzzes, another notification. Trending again, just where's Karen Miller? Karen's breath catches. The tweets are everywhere. Did she really think she could run? Oh, Karen, the internet never forgets. Find her, she scrolls, and then she sees it, a photo of her. Taken just an hour ago, in front of her own apartment building. Someone is watching her. Karen goes into hiding, but the damage is done. Karen ditches her car. She pays a cash for a motel room outside the city, closes the blinds, turns off her phone. She needs this to blow over. But the next morning, her face is on the news. Former Lux and Cody manager caught in viral scandal. Where is she now? The motel clerk is staring at her, whispering to another guest. Karen grabs her things and runs. She can't escape this. She can't hide. And worst of all, she knows who's behind it. Jamal makes his final move. A limo pulls up to Lux and Kumbu headquarters. Jamal Carter steps out. Flawless suit, confident stride, unbothered. Inside his office, Malik is waiting. She's running, boss. Jamal nods, not surprised. They always do. Malik smirks. What's next? Jamal leans back, folds his hands. Then he smiles. Let's finish this. The final blow. Karen Miller is erased. Karen's credit score plummets overnight. Her bank accounts? Frozen. Her rental application? Denied. And then her last hope disappears. An email from every company she applied to. Identical messages. We regret to inform you that we will not be moving forward with your application. Karen can't breathe. She has nothing left. No home, no job, no future. And then her phone buzzes. A final message from a blocked number. Just one line. You tried to ruin my life. Now I've ruined yours. Karen drops her phone. Tears fill her eyes. She finally understands. Jamal Carter didn't just take her down. He erased her. Karen has lost her job, her reputation, her home. But she still thinks she can rebuild. She still refuses to believe she's finished. But karma isn't done with her yet, and it's about to hit harder than ever. Karen tries to apply for a new job, but no one wants her a week after her downfall. Karen walks into a local clothing boutique. Her hair is unkempt, her clothes slightly wrinkled, but she's still trying to hold on to some dignity. She approaches the manager, forcing confidence into her voice. I'd like to apply for a retail position. The manager, a young woman in her 20s, raises an eyebrow. Name? Karen hesitates before answering. Karen Miller. The manager's smile instantly drops. Her fingers pause on the keyboard as she types the name. And then her eyes widen. She leans back, folding her arms. You're that Karen Miller, aren't you? Karen swallows hard. Look, that whole thing was blown out of proportion. It was a misunderstanding. The manager lets out a small chuckle. Misunderstanding? Honey, you're a meme now. You think anyone's going to hire you? Karen's face turns bright red. She tries to argue, but the manager cuts her off. You should leave before I call security. Humiliated, Karen storms out. Her hands shake as she checks her phone. Dozens of job applications, all ignored. Her inbox full of rejection emails. No one wants to hire her. Her name is toxic. Her career, over. Karen's final hope, but it ends in complete humiliation. Desperate, Karen turns to the only thing she has left, her online presence. She decides to make a TikTok video. Hey guys, it's Karen Miller. I just want to clear the air and tell my side of the story. She puts on a fake, tearful voice, her face full of a forced remorse. I never meant to offend anyone. I was just doing my job. This cancel culture is ruining my life. She pauses for dramatic effect, wiping and shroud imaginary tear. Please, if anyone can help me find work, I'd be so grateful. She posts the video, and within minutes, the comments flood in. Girl, if you don't log off and get a job at McDonald's. Cancel culture? Nah, you got karma'd. Hope you dodged being broke, Karen. You deserve it. Karen's stomach drops. She refreshes the page. Thousands of comments all mocking her. Her TikTok is being duetted by influencers, all laughing at her fake apology. Even celebrities are dragging her. She throws her phone across the room, breathing heavily. This isn't fair. She was just doing her job, right? The final nail into the coffin. Karen loses everything. 2 months pass. Karen is unrecognizable. Her hair is greasy. Her clothes are worn. She's living in a rundown motel, barely scraping by. Her savings? Gone. Her car? Repossessed. Her friends? Disappeared. She applies for job after job, only to be met with rejection after rejection. She even tries changing her name on applications. But somehow, people always recognize her. One day she walks into a fast food restaurant, her last shred of pride, hanging by a thread. She approaches the counter. Are you hiring? The manager, a black woman, narrows her eyes. Karen Miller? Karen stiffens. The woman smirks. Oh, honey, you picked the wrong store to walk into. Karen stares at her, realizing she's been recognized again. She doesn't even argue. She just turns and walks out. Because she knows there's no escaping karma. Karen thought she had hit rock bottom, but rock bottom had a trap door, and she was about to fall even deeper. This time, there would be no getting back up. Karen's last chance, and her final humiliation. It's been 6 months. Karen is now completely broke. Her motel kicked her out. She's couch surfing between the few friends who still talk to her, though most of them only let her stay out of pity. She's lost everything, but she refuses to accept. This is her life now. She has one last idea, one final attempt to reclaim her reputation. She's going to write a tell-all book. Surviving Cancel Culture, the Karen Miller story. She spends weeks writing, spinning the narrative in her favor. She paints herself as the victim, the misunderstood woman who lost everything over a simple mistake. She finishes the manuscript, prints out copies, sends them to every major publisher. And she waits. A week later, an email. A publisher is interested. Her hands tremble as she opens it, hope flickering in her chest. But as she reads, her face turns pale. Ms. Miller, after reviewing your manuscript, we regret to inform you that we cannot move forward with publication. Your name is too toxic, and we refuse to align our brand with someone who has displayed blatant racism and abuse of power. We suggest you focus on personal growth, rather than playing the victim. Best of luck. Karen's vision blurs with rage. She throws her laptop across the room, screaming, this can't be happening. Why won't they just let her move on? But the world has already decided Karen Miller is over. The final meeting. The man she betrayed returns. Month later, Karen is working a miserable job at a dingy diner. She's a waitress now. The same Karen who once looked down on service workers, who used to snap her fingers at waiters and demand special treatment. Now she wears a cheap polyester uniform, taking orders from people who barely look at her. One night, she's wiping down a table when the bell above the door jingles. She looks up, and her stomach drops. Standing there, in a tailored suit, looking how every bit the successful man he is. Jamal, the same man she tried to ruin, the same man she humiliated and accused. He sees her and smirks. Karen freezes. Her mouth goes all dry. Jamal walks over and takes a seat at the counter. He folds his hands, watching her with an amused glint in his eyes. Well, 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 look who it is. Karen swallows hard, forcing herself to stay professional. What can I get for you, sir? Jamal leans back, tapping his fingers on the counter. You know, Karen, I could have ruined you worse. She stiffens. He chuckles, shaking his head. I had people begging me to sue you into oblivion, to make sure you'd never work again. But I didn't. Karen's lips press together. She doesn't know whether to feel relieved or insulted. Jamal tilts his head. Tell me something, Karen. Was it worth it? She grips the counter so hard her knuckles turn white. Deep down, she knows the truth. She did this to herself. Jamal sighs, pulls out a $100 bill, slides it across the counter. Keep the change. Karen stares at the money, her pride warring with her desperation. But in the end, she takes it. And Jamal, he just smirks, stands up and walks out. Because this isn't a win for her, this is a reminder that she lost. Karen thought she had hit rock bottom. But what happens when rock bottom isn't the end? What happens when the world forgets you even exist? The world moves on, but Karen can't. Months pass. Karen no longer makes headlines. Her story, once viral, has been replaced by new scandals, new controversies. Nobody talks about her anymore, and somehow that's worse than the outrage. At least when people hated her, she mattered, and now she's nothing. Just another washed-up woman, working a dead-end job, invisible to the world. She drags herself to work every day, the fluorescent lights of the diner making her headache worse. The same routine, the same nameless customers, the same pitying looks from coworkers who know exactly who she is. They don't say anything, but they know. She can feel it in their silence. They whisper when she's not around. That's her, the racist one, the one who lost in everything. And the worst part? She can't even defend herself anymore. Because deep down, she knows they're right. Karen's final attempt to fight back. One night, Karen sits alone in her dingy apartment. She scrolls through social media, searching for her name. Nothing. Nobody cares anymore. She clenches her fists. This can't be how it ends. She has to do something. So she makes a plan. She'll go live. She'll tell her side of the story, uncensored, raw, emotional. She'll make people listen. She sets up her phone, presses a go live son on, and takes a deep breath. Hello, everyone. It's me, Karen Miller. She pauses, waiting for viewers to flood in. But the number stays at 0. She keeps talking, her voice shaking. I just wanted to say, I never meant to hurt anyone. I was misunderstood. The media twisted my words. They ruined my life. Still, the number stays at 0. Not a single person is watching. She waits. 5 minutes. 10. Nothing. Finally, she ends the stream. Her hands trembled as she stares at her great reflection in the dark screen. This is it. This is her life now. Not a villain, not a victim, just forgotten. Jamal's legacy and the life Karen could have inherited. Meanwhile, Jamal's empire keeps growing. His stores are more successful than ever. The scandal, it only made him stronger. People now rallied behind him, supporting his business more than ever before. He's a respected businessman, a symbol of perseverance. And Karen, she's a cautionary tale. The woman who lost everything over her own hatred, and the irony, Jamal doesn't even think about her anymore. She was just a minor inconvenience in his journey, a footnote in his success story, and that, more than anything, is what destroys Karen the most. She didn't just lose. She became irrelevant. Part 7 ends here. Karen tried to fight back, tried to reclaim her name. But in the end, she wasn't even worth remembering, and sometimes, being forgotten is the worst punishment of all. When karma comes knocking, it doesn't just stop at the door, it breaks in, It takes everything and it makes you can never get up again. Karen hits rock bottom and keeps falling. Days blur together. Karen no longer bothers to fix her hair. Her uniform at the diner is stained, wrinkled. She stopped caring a long time ago, one night and after another, exhausting shift. She gets home to find a eviction notice on her door. Rent overdue. No more extensions. No more chances. She rips the paper off the door, breathing heavily. Her fingers dig into the edges, crumpling it. Her mind races. She can't be homeless. Not her. Not Karen Miller. She was supposed to be successful, respected, feared. How did it come to this? Her breath quickens. Tears burn in her eyes, but she refuses to cry. Not yet. She needs money. Fast. The job interview from hell. Karen scrolls through job listings, clicking on anything that doesn't require experience. Retail, warehouse work, janitorial jobs. She never thought she'd be this desperate. Finally, she finds one. Now, hiring, store clerk, competitive pay. She sets up an interview immediately. The next day, she arrives at the store, forcing a smile onto her face. She steps inside and it freezes. The logo on the wall, the decor, the store layout. It's all too familiar. This is one of Jamal's stores, her former boss, the man she's tried to ruin. The man who owns the company she used to wear it for. She turns on her heel, ready to leave, but it's too late. A voice calls out, "Karen." She swallows hard and turns back. A young black woman stands there, arms crossed. It's Maria, one of the employees she used to boss around. Maria's lips curl into a fierce smirk. "You're here for the interview." Karen nods stiffly, her face burning. Maria chuckles. This is going to be fun. The interview and the twist she never saw coming. Karen sits in the office, her hands clenched together in her lap. Maria flips through her application, dragging out the silence. Finally, she looks up. "So why do you want to work here?" Karen forces a smile. I just love the company's values." Maria raises a brow. "Really? That's interesting, considering you used to be a manager at one of our stores. And if I remember correctly, you weren't exactly the biggest fan of diversity." Karen's face goes pale. "That was a misunderstanding." Maria cuts her off. "Right, a misunderstanding, like the time you accused a black man of stealing for no reason." Karen's throat goes dry. Then the door opens. Footsteps. Karen looks up, and her stomach drops. Jamal. He lets the silence stretch before he speaks. "Karen." She flinches. "So, you need a job." Karen nods quickly. Jamal looks at Maria. "You think she deserves it?" Maria smirks. "Oh, absolutely." Maria slides a contract across the desk. Break time, 1,000. Karen thought she could escape. She thought she still had a sliver of control, but karma had other plans. And this time, there's no getting out. Day one, from manager to mopping floors, Karen drags the mop across the shiny tile floor, her hands raw from the cheap rubber gloves. The smell of bleach burns her nose. She grits her teeth as laughter echoes from the break room. She recognizes the voices. Maria, other employees she used to look down on. They're laughing, talking about her. Karen's grip on the mop tightens. She used to command this store. Now she's just another worker at the bottom of the chain, a boy and nobody. And the worst part, she knows it's only going to get worse. Humiliation at every turn. The next day, Karen arrives early, hoping to avoid attention. But Maria has other plans. "Hey, Karen." Karen stiffens, turning around. Maria grins, holding up a cleaning checklist. "You missed a spot yesterday, right in front of the entrance." Maybe give it some extra love today? Karen feels her always stomach drop. The bomb entrance, right where the customers walk in, right where everyone can see her. She wants to protest. But then Jamal steps out of his office. His eyes lock onto hers. Problem, Karen? She swallows hard. No. She grabs the mop and trudges toward the entrance, every step feeling heavier than the last. Minutes later, she's on her knees, scrubbing the floor as customers step around her. Some bow whisper, some bow snicker. And then, Karen, a bow, familiar voice. Karen looks up, and her entire body goes cold. It's one of her old friends. Gaishota, one of the other Karens she used to gossip with. The woman's eyes only widen in shock. Oh my God. What happened to you? Karen's face burns. She stumbles to her feet, clutching the mop. I'm just... The woman shakes her head, disgusted. This is so embarrassing. She takes out her phone. Karen's stomach drops. No, don't. Too late. The camera clicks. A picture of Karen on her knees holding a mop posted for the world to see, and within minutes, it spreads. When the internet gets hold of karma, it starts with a single post. Karen, who called the cops on a black man for stealing from his own store, now works for him as a janitor. Karma. It goes viral within hours. Comments ushering flood in. She thought she was untouchable. Look at her now. Poetic justice at its finest. No sympathy. She got exactly what she deserved. Karen's phone already blows up. Her tragic old friends, her dear family, her former co-workers. They all see it, and none of them reach out to help her. She is completely, utterly alone. The final straw, Karen loses everything. That night, Karen sits in her tiny, rundown apartment, staring at her phone. Her fingers tremble. As she scrolls through the hate comments, she was supposed to be respected. She was supposed to be feared. Now, she's nothing but a joke, on memes, a walking away lesson on why karma is real. She tries to fight back, but every reply is the same. Nobody cares, Karen.